I will start this. It's 1 o'clock. This is a meeting of the City Council Maintenance and Development Subcommittee to discuss issues referred to our committee by constituents, one of which was addressed by LeVar. What is your official title now, LeVar?
Mayoral Aide.
Mayoral Aide LeVar Quick, who got his training in the Springfield City Council office. And okay, we are joined by Zaida Gavan and Councilor Jesse Letterman and DPW Director Chris Signoli. So I think, LeVar, since you referred this issue to Council President Williams, who wanted us to discuss it in this format, if you could share with us what the concerns of the constituents were, and then we can get feedback from Councilor Letterman and DPW Director Chris Signoli.
Yeah, so real briefly, I got a call from Montania Scheider, who has some concerns regarding the traffic lights in the Mason Square community. Mainly, she requested school bus yellow around the lights. So I asked her to send me an email with her concerns. At that, I kind of in turn reached out to Chris Signoli. He responded to the email, which I'm pretty sure he can go into in depth with what we discussed. And I had a conversation with Ms. Scheider, and you know, she still had the concern. So I figured instead of me going back and forth with it, I said let's go to committee and see what we can come with some solutions and see what we can go forward with planning. It's a 3-year, 5-year, whatever that process is, whatever it is, I don't know. But I just figured we'd have a in-depth conversation with the larger group.
And you did forward some photos, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I hope people on this Zoom meeting were able to look at those photos.
Ms. Scheider right here as well. I'm right here.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. Okay. We're going to give DPW Director Chris Signoli an opportunity to respond to that, and then we will go to Councilor Letterman.
Yeah, sure, councilors. We have 230 or so traffic signal intersections around the city, and they are all installed with the requirements at the time that they go in. Probably 75, 80% of the traffic signals we have around the city have no background on them whatsoever. Probably about 15% of them have black windscreens on them. And a small percentage of the new ones now have yellow reflective around the back of the signals. If somebody from Focus Springfield can allow me to do screen sharing, that would be helpful.
Great.
You want to hold it so you can see them?
Because I can't, there's some photos that I just want to show. So is anybody from Focus Springfield there?
I don't believe so. I think
It's
is somebody from Focus Springfield here?
I think Susan just
Yes.
started the meeting with the account.
Yeah, I see them.
Okay.
Yeah, I've asked.
And I believe
Hold on, let me just do this.
Councilor Hurst is also joining us at the meeting.
So yeah, so just what we have around the cities, we have a bunch of different, depending upon what the requirement is, and 9 times out of 10 when we're doing these projects, they're Mass DOT projects. So whatever the requirement of the federal government and or Mass DOT. There we go. It's not letting me share. Hold on. What's going on here? Okay.
Chris, I just made you a co-host because it's not allowing me to. You should be able to, okay?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Sorry it took that long.
Kelly would have gotten right on it. Where the heck is it?
Easy, Chris, we're gonna have to censure you.
It's not going to be the first time and it won't be the last time. Okay. What the heck have I got here? Hold on a second. If I lose you guys, I'll zoom right. I'll get right back in. But here we go. Okay. Okay. Does everybody see a map?
Yes, I see it.
Okay.
Does everybody else see it?
Yes.
Okay. And just for
Yes, we see
everybody's,
it.
okay,
Okay.
just for everybody's purposes, just to let everybody know what we're talking about. Traffic signals, as you can see, this is State and Oak. Around
Those traffic signals.
traffic signals, there is a black windscreen.
So you're talking about, you're actually talking about the traffic light itself.
Talking
correct?
about, that's what was asked. It was about the traffic light. So there is around some of the lights in the city, we have a black windscreen. So that's what we're talking about here. So let me just find a recent one. To show what we're talking about here. This is the new intersection at Island Pond Road and Roosevelt.
Mhm.
And you can see the black windscreen, but it has the yellow
Oh, yeah.
reflective around there. So that's one of the things, but just, you know, if I go down Sumner Avenue or
The second.
Plumtree Road and Roosevelt, just right around the corner. You know, these are the old traffic signals that have no windscreen whatsoever around them. It's just a traffic signal that you see. So those are the three types that we're dealing with. The request that came in was, we want the traffic signals modified to have the reflective around there. It's not required. It is a new requirement on new signals that they go in. It would require us, and let me just go back to show, back to kind of where we were using the Mason Square area as an example. At State Street, we would then have to, a little too far. Let me just go over here. Little out of focus. That would require taking this signal down, installing a new light, because as you see on the windscreen on this one, there's actual windscreen, there's actual vents in it that is used to dampen during wind of having the signal bouncing up and down like that. So the entire signal would need to be replaced with a bigger windscreen that has the holes on the inside, because if we put tape on this, it ends up blocking the actual dampening device. So, you know, at an intersection like this, you know, just at this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one has 9 traffic signals. So you would end up having to replace all 9 signal heads along that. So it is not something just as simple as putting tape around it. It's actually meant for windscreen and dampening purposes. And because the black is so big, the black windscreen becomes so big, they've been putting the reflective tape around it. So that's just kind of the background of the
Chris,
question, the
who
initial
has-
question.
Who has the authority to do that? If a change is going to be made? Does it have
Well-
to go through Mass DOT? Does it just go through DPW? Who has
No,
the
it just,
authority?
on projects like this, it would just go through the DPW.
DPW,
It would
okay.
just go
All
through
right,
DPW.
let's get some other, if you can, I don't think we need more screen sharing, but
Yeah.
if we could just go to Counselor Letterman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any extreme questions at this time. I guess the question I would have is, when did these go in, Chris, on State Street?
The ones on State Street were 2008-9, when they did the corridor over.
So what's changed since then?
The design standard from the federal government and the state, so anything we've probably done after 2017 has them installed. Island Pond Road is one of them, and there's a couple other smaller locations that we've just done. Bay and Berkshire has them because we just finished that as well.
Thank you.
Zaida?
So,
Yeah, did you have just specific,
yeah,
one specific site, or were you looking for more than one?
No, it's me, Montinia Scheider.
Senior, yes, well, thank you for joining.
When I'm driving, yes. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate LeVar walking this for me because I had no idea where to go or who to go to. And I was referred to him. And so therefore, my question is, I'm driving up State Street and little by little Mason Square is starting to get a facelift. But the thing that bothers me so is that when you look up at the traffic signal, it looks dark, it looks dank, and there's no energy coming from the signals. Now, I don't know what the budget is, but we do have so much money. I understand that we've got thousands and thousands of dollars earmarked for the city of Springfield, and I don't understand why we can't dispense some of this money to DPW so that they can give Mason Square a facelift. Now, coming across from the Indian Motorcycle Building, there has been paintings on the ground, and then there is this new signal, I would imagine. Now, if that can be done, I don't understand why the rest of it can't be done. I want the children to feel as if people care about them. This is what I'm talking about. When I moved back from California to Springfield, I noticed that the Berry School was run down. It was beat up. Nothing was being done. We cannot continue to let the children feel as if they're not needed or cared for or respected. I am a staunch believer that if we put this color around these traffic signals, it will really boost Mason Square. We already have the basketball monument there. It's being kept up kind of nicely. It can be really, we need to get some people to really be on top of that. I like the murals on MLK. However, the traffic signals bring the entire thing out of focus. It needs to have it. I don't imagine it's going to be $1 million. And if we've got 19 or 18 signals in one intersection, why can't we take out some of those signals, work on them, get them done, and then replace them and take the ones that were remaining and take them down? There's no reason, as far as I'm concerned, that it can't be done. I think it's an
That's what we're here to,
thing to do for the city of Springfield.
that's what we're here to find out. Zaida, did you have any,
yes.
anything to add? Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm actually just supporting Ms. Montinia on this effort. Of course, I'm now working in Mason Square and I see the traffic signals as well. And I noticed, you know, the difference in the new ones as compared to the old ones. So, you know, I understand her point where, you know, it looks a little bit darker. And on another note, this might not be the meeting for that, but the lights, the street lights at nighttime, it's like so dark.
Yes.
And I know that's my pet peeve. I've complained about that for years. I remember calling Councilor Letterman one year. I was on Island Pond Road like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was getting dark. There were kids walking to school. I called him. I said, Jesse, who do we talk to? But again, that's on another note. So here for the traffic signals in Mason Square and the yellow highlighting around them, it does make it look really nice when they have it like that.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
So thank you again for listening to us.
Well, yes, and we hope we can address some of those concerns because I think we're all aware that there is a pool of money. I can't tell,
Lots of it.
I'm not sure, Justin Hirsch, are you joining us on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Green, okay. All right, so you're on the phone then, right?
I am on the phone.
You stopped at a traffic light and you've joined us.
I've been here. I've heard everything.
What can you add?
I'm just not dressed, Councilor Walsh, so I don't have my camera on.
OMG.
That means I don't have a suit and tie on, that is.
DMI. I'm sure you've heard from some constituents.
Absolutely. I mean, I think to the extent that we can beautify Mason Square, we should do so. I think Montaigne raises some great points. I mean, the children of Mason Square and really throughout the entire city need to feel valued and appreciate the area in which they reside. And, you know, if we can beautify it in any way possible, we should do so. I mean, we have $127 million. You know, I know we have to relate it to COVID, but when you talk about the psyche of our kids, especially those in Mason Square, I mean, that is one of the primary areas that have been disproportionately impacted by COVID. So I think the argument in the case can be made, and I'm sure Chris would love to see the money.
Well, Chris, what do you have to do to get some of these funds that are coming in? I mean, does DPW get to make a wish list or these concerns coming in from constituents? Because, you know, also on the table are the concerns about the parking signs throughout Mason Square that a constituent who called me today was concerned about. So how do you get access to some of these funds to meet your needs and constituents' concerns?
I beg.
And how does it go?
Basically, what I've done in the past probably a couple, 3 months is that I've put together my wish list of the things that I believe meet the criteria for the items itemized in the funding to the city. Items itemized with regard to DPW type stuff is more drainage related, not necessarily roadway related, but it is drainage related. So I've made my list, provided it to both TJ and Tom Moore. So when the time is right, I can start having discussions with them about it. But as I said, you know, as I said before, there are, 230 locations around the city that the location that we looked at Mason Square is probably $25,000 to do those 9 signal heads there. So this is not something that is, you know, putting tape up. This is replacing an entire signal head. And there are, other locations. I mean, you can probably pick 50 other locations that are the exact same way with that. So it kind of, we bring them up to speed when we do, but it's, this is a ton of work. This is not putting up tape, reflective tape. This is replacing the entire signal head because the entire signal head is set up a certain way. And on some of the signals, you then have to also do an analysis because you have to make sure you got the right wind stuff on there. We have dampeners that go on the top of these things as well from a structural standpoint. If you drive by some of the new traffic signals, you see this kind of awkward thing sitting up top. That's a wind dampener for these traffic signals. So there's a lot that goes into it. It is not simply just putting some reflective tape around these things.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody thought it was just that. Montaigne.
Chris, I'm talking about the children right now. The children are our most important asset that we have right now. And we've got small children that need to be motivated right now. I understand about the drainage. I understand that it's going to cost us, but $25,000 to me is no money, considering the city has so much money earmarked. The money for vaxes are being given to to renovate buildings downtown. Why can't you take $25,000 or a little bit more and fix the traffic signals? I understand what's going on around the city, 295 or whatever there is. I'm concerned about Mason Square. That's what I'm concerned about right now. And our children in Mason Square, the black and brown children in Mason Square. They need to be motivated. They need to be uplifted. And whatever you can do, I'd like you to do it. I really and truly, Chris, don't want to hear about everything else that's going on around you. I'm concerned about State Street and Mason Square and the children. They are our most important asset. That's who I'm concerned about. Let's not drag this out and wait 2 and 3 years. I personally think it can be done by the Christmas holidays. That's what I'm thinking. I think, again, if you take down so many at a time, work on them, get them repaired, get them fixed, whatever it takes. My daddy told me that a man is good at his word. Stick to your word. Fix this for the children. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the city. That can follow. The drainage problem isn't
No,
that
it can't.
bad.
It cannot
Listen, it used to be
follow.
really bad.
No, it cannot follow.
Well,
It
let me-
cannot.
Okay.
He's interrupted.
It cannot.
I was talking,
Let me-
Chris. I was talking. I didn't interrupt you, Chris. I'm
Okay.
concerned about the traffic signals on State Street and Springfield and Mason Square for our most important assets, and that's our children. The black and brown children of Springfield, Massachusetts is what I'm concerned about right now.
Okay, I want to ask.
Thank you.
LeVar, since this concern came into you in the mayor's office, has there been any discussion in the mayor's office about the probability of addressing this, or is it just the referral to the city council?
At this juncture, it was a referral to the city council after I have a discussion with Council President Williams. I can definitely have a further discussion with Chris, with the mayor, to follow up as well. But at this point, yeah, it's at the city council.
And is this a unique request, or have there been other requests for the same thing throughout the city?
For me, this is a unique one, and Ms. Scheider is very passionate about it. So again,
Yes,
that's
we
why
can tell.
her passion radiated over to me. So that's why, again, I reached out to Chris, got the response, which was fine. And again, I want to have a bigger discussion with the city council and see how we can work through it.
Right,
And I have no problem with bringing it to the mayor as well.
okay, and I thank you for your passion, because I think that's so important for our city and for our children. And I would like to see, and I am joined on by committee member Jesse Letterman, if there's some way that our subcommittee can have a motion or make a recommendation that this project be considered, because I did notice that there are going to be, and maybe you can help me out with this, LeVar, I did see that there are going to be community meetings, correct? Neighborhood community meetings to discuss how the money should be appropriated. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And is there one in Mason Square?
The student neighborhood councils, I'm not too sure if they reached out to Mr. Tommy Ash. I can find out, but it's through the neighborhood councils.
So that was another avenue, I would think, to attend the, I don't know if the city council is getting a wish list. Yeah, or if there's discussion.
I don't see why you can't make a meeting, a request for a meeting.
Right, but I would have thought that maybe the city council would have been approached to see if they had projects that they would like to have included.
It's not a LeVar click
Yeah.
question, but I definitely hear you. Trust me.
I'm just going to say Campanile, which I always like to see included in things. But to get back to this, I think this is I thank Zaida and Montana for bringing this up, but I do think that we should try to see if we can include this project in the funds that are coming to the city. And I suppose that once you do one, people will want more, but at least we could, do them as they come to you and do them sporadically throughout the city. But I can see their point in Mason Square, and there's good things going on with DeBerry and so forth, and they're finally doing over the Homer School. So I think good things are happening there, and then maybe we should add this to the list of it. That's what I would like to see. What do you think, Councilor Letterman?
Certainly, and I think also I think there will be additional funds as well coming from the infrastructure package once the infrastructure package comes through that might be able to be considered for signal upgrades across the city. I'd like to see too the breakdown on the safety numbers in terms of how this is impactful for improving driver cognition and things like that. So thank you, LeVar, for bringing it forward. Certainly hope you'll discuss it with the mayor. And as always, Chris, for being here as well. And Councilor Walsh, thank you very much.
Yes, and I realize, Chris, you have a lot of requests coming your way. And I would love it if we could do all of them, but I know
the issue that we're going to run into, that I'm going to run into, is that these traffic signals along, that money I was talking about, that's for one location.
Right.
So there are traffic signals in the city that are of lower standard that, once we, and I was just really, what I was doing is I was doing some quick math, you're upwards of $6-7 million all of a sudden when you start jumping around the city, and I understand what was said about, that, somebody cares just about Mason Square. Then I'm going to get the phone call for Forest Park, right, Catering?
Absolutely.
Then I'm going to get the phone call for the North End.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to get the phone call for the other one, and it's going to be, well, you did it there, you're not going to do it here, or you're not going to do it here. So the issue is that we're trying to maintain the standards, number one. And it's not that I don't want to do it. It will be a monumental challenge. And number two, this type of request does not, TJ and Tom will be the ones to tell you, it does not meet the requirements of what the funding is that is listed as far as inside of the COVID money that we're receiving. Now, would it be part of an infrastructure program? Hopefully down the road, absolutely. I know that it would be. Then it gets into what becomes the priority of the money that we have. So a lot of those questions then get into it. It's like, that's when I start having discussions with the mayor and the mayor's office and other people. It's like, where do we want to spend this? And by doing one intersection in Mason Square, while it meets what we were trying to accomplish, what then happens next? Because the whole State Street corridor was done at the same time. So it all has, and I don't want to use the word deficiency, but if we're going to use the word deficiency, all the signals from Main Street all the way to Boston Road have that same deficiency. All the way along Boston Road has it. So, it is, while we could fix one location, it will open a floodgate for requests for all over the place. That I do know.
Yeah, I understand that, but you always have to start somewhere. Justin, did you have any more comments?
Just quickly, I would definitely, before we shut anything out in terms of whether it falls under, the COVID-19 money, I would definitely defer to the Attorney Moores of the world.
Right.
I would argue that you probably could make a fit for almost anything, which is what we've already seen done downtown. So, I think what we need to be careful of is identifying the priorities that are important to you, Chris. And I'm not saying that that we shouldn't take those into consideration, but I think what we really need to do is make sure that we're prioritizing what is of most importance to the residents. And so while I know you have your list, and I'm sure every other department head has their list, I think if you want to make it work under COVID money, it has to be something just outrageous for it not to work. That and I haven't looked into the details of it, but speaking from one who has a law degree, I know if you want to make it fit, you probably can make a good argument for it.
And are
Thank
you referring to Tom Moore, who was our city council attorney in his new position?
Yes, I'm referring to Tom Moore in his new position. And I would also recommend, Catering, that you reach out with your wish list. I know Tom did mention that he was going to be in contact with counselors as well. So
meeting set up with him after Labor.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
you, Madam
Chair. Is actually his what does his new position entail? What's his charge?
He's the gatekeeper
There you
for all
go.
the money.
Oh, yeah. It's a good guy to know that.
For lack of a better term, he's the gatekeeper. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think, I mean, I certainly hear the concerns of Zaida and Montanya, and we will definitely, as a subcommittee, bring this up, mention it on the council floor, and I will bring it up when I meet with Tom Moore next week, and we will see if we can get this added to a list that will be done sooner or later.
And for
You
LeVar,
we may hear more feedback from people.
I can't hear you guys. I'm sorry. It's glitching.
Yeah, we may hear more feedback from people who are interested in this particular project, which would be helpful.
Don't say it.
Okay.
What did you say, Chris?
I was going to say, LeVar, I can bring it up to the mayor when I have my meeting with him next week.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Good.
I can't
Okay.
hear you.
And if anybody else, anybody want to speak on the topic?
Consideration.
Yes.
in this.
Because I'd kind of ask you while we're here, Chris, and this is an issue you brought up, Jesse, I believe you and Councilor Brown, about the no parking signs on Dunmorland Street. Is there anything new on that issue? Because I know you were concerned about students, and they obviously will be coming back, or they might already be back in that neighborhood.
They are back. I know I was out there the past couple of days. Those students are back. Dunmorland Street, the no parking regulation that was on Dunmorland Street's been taken away.
Okay. So all the no parking signs are down.
Yes.
And you had said to me that that means anyone can park there. They don't have to be a resident of the street, correct?
I drove down that street yesterday. It was packed.
Packed. And we have no way of knowing if it's the residents or the students, correct?
Right. I know that there was a ton of students because there was a bunch of kids walking with backpacks parking there because now they can park there all day for free.
Madam Chair.
Yep.
I was gonna actually ask you about scheduling an independent meeting on that, because I know what the neighborhood was looking for, and Councilor Brown, and I know other folks as well, was sort of a broader look at the whole area, and so I think we really need the traffic commission to kind of undertake that before we could really take any meaningful action. And I think that has to consider long-term, perhaps the condition of resident parking or something like that. But it's a broader conversation to have. I know the Dunmorland Street petition was put in directly by the community, which is great. And then what was introduced later on by Councilor Brown and myself was, the request for the Traffic Commission to take the broader look at all of the streets in the area and figure out, what made sense, and including with the neighborhood councils and residents there. So I know that sort of came up right before we kind of entered the summer session, so we haven't had a meeting on it. And there was one more petition that got referred on parking on Long Hill Street. And I know there were residents on Long Hill Street, Lower Long Hill, who were concerned with that. I know those parking signs are actually up, but it was never formally voted on by us because it was referred to committee at our last summer meeting. So maybe if we could do a meeting with the Traffic Commission, mainly on the Mason Square AIC area, but also dispose of the Long Hill Street item. I know at least Sandra Collins wanted to testify on that as well.
Sounds good to me. Chris, do you know if the Traffic Commission has discussed any of this?
The Long Hill Street one, on the State Street Wilbraham Road, I don't think anything has gone in front of the Traffic Commission on that. That I do know. Excuse me, other than Dunmorland Street, because that's been through the entire process.
Okay.
So those other streets haven't been discussed yet. Long Hill Street was two separate requests, and I can't remember the woman's name, but on the east side of Long Hill Street, just north of Sumner Avenue, there's the apartment block, and next to the apartment block is a resident. That resident wanted no parking in front of their house. That was a specific request by them. I can't remember the person's name because it was probably 8-9 months ago. Right next to that, at the apartment building, was a request from the apartment building for no parking, I believe on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, for them to put all of their trash barrels out at a particular location. Because what was happening is they put them on the curb. We don't pick up there. That's because it's an apartment complex, it's private. So what was happening is they put them on the tree belt, or if they put them in the street, residents would come and park there and put them somewhere else. So what he looked for was a couple, 3 parking spaces to be able to put their trash barrels out for that one day. So that's what that regulation was on Long Hill. I get requests on Long Hill probably twice a year that talk about different parking things, but usually it's very, very specific to a particular property. But there was 2 different ones there. There was a woman who requested for no parking in front of her house. And then there was parking for trash pickup for 1 day a week. I can't remember what day it is, but it was for 1 day. I got the regulation. So that's what the issue was there. And I was like either 2 or I think it was just 2 parking spaces. It wasn't that big of an area.
Okay, so the next step would be to refer that to a joint meeting of the Traffic Commission and the City Council, or have the Traffic Commission meet first and then?
I think it already went through the Traffic Commission.
Okay.
I think it was on the agenda in front of the City Council.
So I think if we could schedule a Maintenance and Development Committee meeting and just invite the key members of the Traffic Commission and Chris to kind of go over everything and then decide on a course of action, because anything we pass is going to have to go through the Traffic Commission and come back anyways. I mean, all we can do at the first level is
what was the issue on that, or the complaint? Because I didn't get a call from anybody.
They were concerned with how much space was taken. It seemed to be more than just a couple of spaces.
Well, what it was, just not to interrupt you, it was contiguous with that other no parking in front of the other house.
That may just need to be the clarification.
Right.
Or we take a look at it. You know, I mean, ultimately, we need to formally pass it at some point, anyways. So let's have the committee meeting and let them testify and figure out.
Yeah, and I got all the background for that. That's why I was just the reason why I asked, because I hadn't heard anything from anybody. So
yeah, they had reached out to me, and that's why I made the reference to committee. And they
and I think, and like I said, it's for 1 day a week. It's not no parking all the time. It's just for 1 day a week.
Understood. That may be the clarification they need.
Yeah, that's no problem. No problem.
Okay, all right. Well, I will make sure that meeting is scheduled after Labor Day. So I don't know if there are any other Councilor Hurst, you wanted to add anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, LeVar, thanks for bringing this item to our attention and taking care of our constituents. Do you have any other concerns?
No, thank you. Thank you for hosting the meeting. I appreciate it.
Yeah, do you miss us?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other concerns from anybody? Okay, well, I think this has been a very productive meeting, and I'm hoping we'll be able to help out those concerned citizens. So, and I'll have the council office let you know when we schedule that other meeting. Thank you for joining.
That works for me.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Yeah.